And welcome back, guys, to another episode of the After Work Club. I'm your host, Mim.
And I'm Adam. Hello.
Welcome back, friends. Thank you so much for all of our friends and family and even the new listeners for tuning into our first episode. When did we drop that? A couple weeks ago?
3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago. It's been really nice to hear the outpour of support from everyone, and I think we intend to try and make this a bit more regular.
Yeah, we sort of spoke about it at the start. It's like you'll get it when you get it kind of deal, but if the public demand is there, we must appease it in some way or another.
Yes. So we will try our hardest to schedule things to be a bit more frequent.
Yeah.
Which will be really nice. But what were some of the things we were going to talk about today, Adam?
Well, going to our handy-dandy list of topics.
Yes.
We're going with our episode 2 listing, which is where the hell did all these people come from? And we're going to hopefully just sort of reflect on life post-pandemic, changes and stuff that occurred during that period, and how we've grown to sort of accept those changes after that. Because I know from my experience, shit done changed.
Shit done changed, all right. And isn't it wild to think that it was, 5 years ago around this time that we were getting told that you're all going into lockdown and...
Yeah, it was March, because there was we had the fires
in
2019, 2020, and so everyone was fixated on that, and there was smoke hanging around, and it sucked. But then we started to hear those whispers coming out of China, hey, we've got a bit of a situation brewing over here.
I just remember going to work at the pub and people freaking out about it, and I was like, psh, it's just the flu. What are you talking about? It'll be fine. And then we were the worst state in the entire world that had the longest lockdowns in the end.
Sydney was where it came into the country with the Ruby Princess.
Oh, so it was Sydney that screwed us.
Sydney led the team down.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
No. Well, so much has changed since then.
Yeah. So let's talk about pre-pandemic, 2019. What was Mim doing?
29. Oh, geez. I had just gone through knee surgery, actually.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a really shitty time of my life. I think I'd hit a bit of a rock bottom. And that was just the cherry on top of everything.
I know that I saw a topic, but I remember talking about that because we were talking about snowboarding and you wanted to do a trip another trip.
And it just did not happen.
It did not happen.
No. So for context, I used to skateboard. I've now retired from that. And when I say skateboard, it wasn't like I was doing mad ollies off gutters or anything like that. She
was cutting sick in the skate park. Don't believe the hype.
No, I couldn't drop in. I was scared of dropping in. But I was learning how to turn, and I was pretty much just skateboarding to get from A to B. That was my thing, and I really enjoyed it, and it was a form of exercise. But I think after I started driving, which was a couple years prior to this, I'd sort of slowed down on the skating because, driving's a lot quicker than skating places.
And a bit more socially acceptable as well.
Yeah, well, that too. But I ended up having a little accident, and I hit a rock and pretty much ate shit in the middle of the road, and that I ruptured my ACL for the second time, but this time I really screwed it, so I had to go get ACL reconstruction surgery, which 10 out of 10 do not recommend, but if it's going to happen in any state, I think Victoria is the place to get your knee fixed.
Yeah, and like you were out of commission for a bit as well, but like after you got it done, you were pretty heavy in your rehab sort of thing. Like you took your physio pretty seriously.
Oh yeah, the physio, and I'm lucky that my physio was actually across the road from where I live, so that was an added bonus.
Oh, I could just imagine you those first couple of weeks just hobbling
Across the street to get to my physio appointment. Yeah, it was pretty wild, but yeah, I think that was just the cherry on top of just things not going the way that they wanted to. But also, I think at the time I was about to wrap up my bachelor degree, so that was nice knowing that one portion of my study was out of the way and I just had a couple more big things to do after that. Which, you know, the pandemic was kind of a blessing in that regards because it made studying a lot easier.
Well, yeah, what else were you going to do?
Pretty much.
Yeah, especially in Melbourne, so I know, like, because you're in the Ring of Steel, so every time someone coughs, they seem to lock it down.
Oh my God, it was wild. The whole, like, 5Ks, like, isn't that just wouldn't fly today. Like, you could not leave your house past 5 kilometers. It's crazy.
I mean, like, and if you did take a look at sort of like, you know, you zoom out on Google Maps to 5 kilometers, like, how many people actually live within 5 kilometers of like a supermarket or something like that?
Yeah, not many.
No.
Not many. Especially with like
the new suburbs and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, 2019, I'm glad that's over and bloody done with.
Yeah.
How about you? What was some of the things that were happening in 2019 for you?
So I was living in Geelong. I just moved down there with a partner. We were in the process of like trying to get our housing situation sorted out. Literally, so January 2020, we'd been applying for houses and stuff like that. I was working in security, doing patrol work and stuff down in Geelong. January 2020, we found out we got a house, like a little 3-bedroom house in Geelong, which was amazing. Then we moved in, and then a month later, bang, lockdown. I separated from my partner in that time frame.
And you were in the same house?
We were in the same house.
Oh.
I managed to get another rental in the same suburb so I could keep working and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then what began as like a separation became like a bit of a rekindling because we kind of got our shit together. Consequently from that, we got back together. I moved back into that house, and that's where basically we spent a majority of the pandemic. Now, being in Geelong, our experience was a little bit more different than what you guys had up here.
Yeah.
So I remember, particularly because I was considered an essential worker because I was working in security.
Yeah.
I got to drive to like Apollo Bay, Port Arlington.
You're just living the dream. We were just stuck here.
The Surf Coast down in Geelong.
Oh, and it would have been so much nicer down there because like you didn't have traffic of people coming down there.
Because I was doing security as well. That meant when the supermarkets opened for the essential workers, I was there at 6 o'clock in the morning because I just finished work. So I was able to get toilet paper. I was able to get milk.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the toilet paper. How could I forget? That was like the wildest thing. Everyone was
This was actually part of the reason why my ex and I got back together is because I
had
I could get toilet paper. 2, I had a stack in my toilet of toilet paper.
Oh, I just remember seeing...
I was not the arsehole buying like maximum packs every time I went. I bought 1 pack every time I went shopping. And because I was doing it weekly, it quickly accumulated, particularly living by myself.
What was the go with that? Did everyone think that we were just going to like shit our pants and we were going to run out of toilet paper?
I think it was because of the risk of the supply chains running out, which is what did happen. Yeah. Because supply did not match demand.
Well, I don't think anyone could have seen this coming either.
Do you remember pasta?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, you know what? Can't eat it anymore, so it doesn't matter.
No. Mim's had some life changes since our last episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, pasta was no go. Dairy, so milk and eggs and stuff.
Yeah,
same deal. Even now, like with the chicken flu.
Oh, the bird flu. Yeah.
Yeah. At least we don't live in America.
That's all right.
Suck it, guys.
We get our eggs from our gym guy because he's got a
He's got a coop.
yeah, he's got a coop, so we get some fresh eggs, which is
man.
nice.
Yeah. But like, yeah, so that's kind of it. And then wound up getting my now ex pregnant and having a kid in the pandemic. Like your knee surgery,
Yay.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Do not recommend.
No, there's so many things that just didn't happen. It was like not a good thing. I think one of the highlights that I had was I really embraced Cocktail Friday.
Yeah.
I really, really embraced that.
Shout out to Cassie. Do you remember her husband Gordon's live streams?
Yes, he used to do the Friday night live
The
music streams.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I used to tune into those.
Gordon Holland, guys, check him out on Spotify. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's a friend of the pod, I think.
Yes.
If he remembers.
Amazing musician. Can't recommend him enough. He's beautiful.
Yeah, he's also a beautiful human.
Yes.
He's very nice.
But yeah, they used to do the live stream, so we could try and keep some sort of normality with like seeing live music on it. I remember lying in bed watching it.
I was walking around Geelong locking buildings up listening to it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it used to suck when I used to get into the elevators and you'd like lose mobile set reception.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, damn it, man.
Yeah, that was wild. I think I also came up with a game because at that point my sister had moved next door. So it was one of those sneaky loophole things of, well, we technically have the same address. So they were our like bubble people. And we decided to do on a Friday night, I made this thing called the Ultimate Games Night. And
Was this like board games?
yes, it was a mixture of board games and other games like charades and things. But I made stupid rules and stupid points, and I even got like butcher's paper on an easel, and I mapped it all out for like each game, and there was no logic behind any of
I'm
it.
struggling to sort of understand the concept, but I'm getting this like weird image of like spin the bottle for teenagers.
No. So think of like we played like Cluedo and Yahtzee, and I think Jenga was another one. But I really but you got points. You got points for the game for like who would win and who would lose, but I also made points for the underdog. So sometimes the underdog would end up with more points. So arguably my sister and her partner and Maz think that I rigged all of it because I think I ended up winning the whole thing. But I think we spent a solid 4 or 5 hours playing this.
That would be like Monopoly. That would just be painful.
Pretty much. Just don't get me to make stupid rules up and stupid point systems because,
We need a Mim version of Monopoly.
yeah, everyone flips the table. I played Monopoly actually not long ago with my father-in-law and my granddad-in-law when they came to visit in December.
I could just imagine the chance cards.
Oh.
Mim puts buttered bread on your record player, loose the turn.
Pushed off a stool. Now for the new listeners, you need to go back to our first episode to hear the stool story and the bread on a record.
We kind of brushed over it, like it was.
It was kind of at the end, though, which is great because you have to listen to the end. Maybe we should do that. We should include, like, a funny story.
We do, like, a greatest clips or something.
Oh, actually, I can give you the story. This is actually a highlight for Maz's family.
Really?
Yeah. This is constantly brought up, this story, actually, and it's very fitting because we're talking about, like, pandemic times.
Yeah.
So, Maz is a bit of a hypochondriac.
Is he?
Oh, my God.
I get that vibe from Maz.
Oh, I have countless stories of Maz being a hypochondriac. But during...
Are we just ripping on Maz this episode? Is this what this is?
Oh, potentially. I mean, isn't that what my life is now?
She loves him.
In the best possible way. I think if you don't have banter with your partner, you got nothing.
No.
But during the pandemic, obviously, hospitals were a crazy time. You would want to avoid going to the emergency room
I know this.
Yeah, if it wasn't serious. Maz, for some particular reason, was hyperfixated on the fact that he thought he had diabetes. Mm-hmm. He does not. He doesn't have diabetes.
It doesn't look like he has diabetes.
No, he doesn't have diabetes. But that was the thing of the week that he was hyperfixated on. That he thought he had
Everyone's
diabetes.
having a health crisis. Maz has got diabetes.
And I remember we were asleep, and I got woken up at like 4 a.m. to him going, "Hun, I think I'm having a diabetic episode." And I had to be like,
hyper or hypo?
I don't know.
Do you know the difference between the two?
No.
Okay. Hypo is when blood sugar is low. Hyper is when blood sugar is too high.
I don't even think he knows the difference. But he just thought he was having
I used to date diabetic, so I know this.
Okay, well, he was like, quote unquote, I'm having a diabetic episode. And I was like, no, you're not. You don't have diabetes, sweetie. Go back to sleep. And he was like, no. Like, I think I need to call an ambulance. And I was like, okay, let's think about this for a second. Let's not call an ambulance.
In the middle of a bloody pandemic.
In the middle of a pandemic. Let's not do that. I'm sure we can call someone and we can get some answers for what the heck is going on. So we found
Maz needs to get one of these because it can actually help with your blood sugar levels and stuff.
Well, yeah, he should. I mean, he's got a Fitbit, but he doesn't really wear it that often. I think it's just from work.
But he's not at work today.
Yeah, I know.
Wearing it.
Well, he doesn't. Anyway. But yeah, we decided to call a 24-hour nurse hotline
nurse
thing.
on call kind of deal.
Yeah. So I called, and I was like, that was the compromise instead of calling an ambulance. And
did she call him an idiot?
Pretty much, but in a different way. So
You're
Maz,
intellectually challenged, sir.
Maz also has a tendency to be a bit vague when he's describing things that are wrong with him. And she was asking, what are your symptoms? And he's like, well, I'm cold and hungry and I just don't feel good. And her response was, put a jumper on and eat a banana. and now
did he look very dissatisfied with that response?
Yeah, but then the next morning he got up and he went to Chemist Warehouse and he bought a $100 diabetic
the blood tester. They suck.
Yeah, but to tell him
he's fine.
So it's been a running joke now in the family to just put a jumper on and eat a banana.
That's good life advice.
Yeah. So
especially at the moment in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Because it's gotten cold.
It has. It happens so quickly too.
Overnight.
Yeah. Hate it. Hate it.
Oh, I love it. And daylight savings ended.
No, I'm so sad about that.
I'm so fucking happy. Oh my God, am I happy.
Why? It's just darkness, cue seasonal depression.
Yeah, but I like the dark.
Of course you do. We're so night and day.
Means sun, happiness.
Yeah.
I'm dark midnight. Let's go.
I think if we were to draw ourselves as little weather pictures, I would be sunshine and rainbows, and you'd be a little stormy, gloomy cloud.
Yeah.
That's maybe with some little lightning bolts
and some snow underneath
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell freezes over. Vibes.
Yeah. I should get some art like that for my house.
I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you.
Mim's going to make it happen.
I'll make it happen.
Anyway,
I can do this.
Let's get back to our pandemic conversation.
Yeah.
So something else that I picked up during the pandemic was something that you have in your games cupboard, which is a Switch.
Oh, yeah. That was actually an impulsive buy during the pandemic too.
So have you seen the new Switch that they've released?
I have seen it.
Have you seen how much it's going to cost us in Australia?
No.
So I think with the Mario Kart World thing, it's going to cost $500-$600.
I mean, I was kind of expecting that.
Games are going to cost $120-$150.
Everything's so expensive.
We talked about this in the first
I'm
episode.
so
But
expensive.
yeah, so that caused a lot of friction in my relationship with my ex
Yeah.
and some of my social relationships
Because of the Switch.
because we were playing. So we'd play Mario, but because everyone had Switches, we had like 8 people playing at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, between me and my ex, we would always come out on top. We'd have sort of dukes at the front. And then, particularly because some of our friends are very competitive, they didn't really like that all that much.
See, like, I think we bought a couple games. Like, I think we got one of them, I think it was like Mario Deluxe and then some sort of, I think, Mario Party or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was very short-lived for us. Like, we played it a little bit, but it was more, I think we started playing it more once my sister was living close by because, like, they also have a Switch, so we were able to, like, play Mario Kart.
Party play.
Yeah, it's way more fun when you've got, like, more than 2 people.
Yeah, and this is where, like, I had so much fun playing with, like, 8 people racing and stuff because it kind of took me back to...
Yeah, that's fun.
My, my hobby thing.
Yeah, go-karting.
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. It's another episode.
Yeah. Adam's fails at go-karting.
Yeah.
I've got videos on YouTube. Anyway, so did that. We had the kid during the pandemic. So when you say hospital trips and stuff,
How was that?
So this caused a lot of problems, and I could probably do an entire episode on our birthing experience because it was confoundingly negative.
Yeah, and I've heard that from people that were going through similar things.
Yeah.
They were having kids during that time.
It was incredibly hard. I was basically shunned like a leper.
Which is wild because, like, women need their partner. They need their support people for such a scary thing.
This is what created a lot of friction between me and the hospital staff.
Yeah.
Is because my ex went through, I think it was like a 12 or a 14-hour labor.
Oh, my God.
It got to the point, because she was diabetic, she had to be induced.
Yeah.
My son never dropped. He
was not ready.
He was not ready to come out.
Yeah.
So it got to, basically she had her waters broken at like 8 o'clock in the morning. It got to like 10 o'clock at night. She had the epidural.
Yeah.
And
give me all the drugs.
She had that at like, she basically had that 12 hours later.
Wow.
And she just passed out. And then, so it got, because we planned it, I discussed it with her, like, hey, look, if it gets to a certain point, and if you're just that exhausted because nothing's happened, we need to do a cesarean. I know, like, it's admirable that you want to try and have it naturally, but we need to have this in play. Do I have, like, if
Yorker's head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yep, sure.
Yep.
No worries. So it got to 10 o'clock and I said, look, it's obvious that this is not going to happen naturally.
Yeah.
What do we need to do to get in play to have a cesarean?
Yeah.
And so that process started. I got it done. Now, during the process of the cesarean, they nicked an artery, so she lost a lot of blood.
Oh, my God.
She was unconscious when he came out. So I had to do mother and father stuff.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, because it was pandemic, no family there to help, no friends.
That's so traumatic. Not only for her, the fact that she was unconscious when her kid came out into this world.
So I've got photos of her, like him asleep on her, and she's out of it too. And yeah, it basically, because of the pandemic as well, because she had cesarean, she could not get up and obviously look after herself, breastfeed, do anything like that. She needed help. Nursing staff wouldn't help her.
That's terrible.
So she called me. So he was born on a Friday morning at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So that was
fun.
That was a big day. But yeah, she called me. So Saturday, they were going through the treatment plans. I was only allowed in the hospital 4 hours a day. So the plan was I'd go in, I'd do all the baby stuff. She would sleep.
Yeah.
But because it was the only time when she could have a break, so she would just cry.
Oh my
when I was
God,
there.
the poor thing. That's so terrible.
Yeah, and then she called me Sunday, and the Sunday morning after, she called me and she's like, I need to come home. I
Yeah.
can't be here. So what happened is Saturday afternoon after I'd left, they moved someone in with COVID because she was in a room by herself. They moved them into the room next to her, so she couldn't use the bathroom. They expected a woman who had a cesarean to walk 250 meters unaided to a bathroom down a hall.
My mouth is on the floor. Like, what?
Yeah.
That is wild.
So she called me in tears. I go into the hospital on a warpath.
Adam is not a man you want to cross, for reference.
So I walked in there. I was cordial. I signed in as I was supposed to. And I said,
Yeah.
I need to talk to the nurse on charge now.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, she's in a meeting. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
She's out here now. Or I'm going to run through this hospital.
Yep.
So
You are fucking with my family here.
Yeah, and so I get in there. My ex is sitting on the bed. She's very like depressed. She's like, I just need to come home. You need to get me out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to facilitate that, but we need to talk and we need to complain. So nurse comes in. We go through that. We go through what's wrong. And she's like, oh, well, I'm like, it's kind of fucked up that you expect a woman that's just had major surgery to walk unaided down a hallway in front of people in a pandemic without masks or anything like that to go to a bathroom she's had a catheter in, so she's had a, like, you know,
Yeah.
she's having to refine her reflexes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Kind of messed up. I'm not very happy. I think she needs to come home because you guys can't provide the level of care that's required.
Absolutely.
And so they're like, oh, no. She needs to do this. She needs to have a blood transfusion. I'm like, you guys have had over 48 hours to figure out that she needs a blood transfusion. Why wasn't this done yesterday? So, yeah, push comes to shove. We got her out. She got into the car.
Yeah.
We got my son home. Everything was fine. We had to do some, like, I had to go get some, like, aids and stuff like that, which was no problem. But, yeah. All pandemic, all because I couldn't go in there more than 4 hours a day to give her a hand.
That is so crazy. I can't even imagine having to go through that or being in that position and Maz not being able to help me with these things. I would just be a mess.
Yeah, and that's essentially it. And this is something like I was going to sort of touch on as well, is like the mental health side as well. How many more mental condition, like people have come out of the pandemic with mental conditions?
Oh, 100%. Because, you know, there are some people that, you know, really thrived in the pandemic. I mean, I was one of those people. I was living my best life in some respects. It all sort of turned around and, like, you know, it was nice to be able to spend time with Maz because at that point as well, we were very like ships in the night. So we were hardly seeing each other because I was working nights at the pub and he was doing day work. So we were rarely spending time together. I think maybe occasionally we'd have one evening. So the fact that we got to spend, you know, multiple days of the week together hanging out and, you know, like having some good personal reflection as well. So that was really nice. But I understand that there were a lot of people and like there was a girl that I worked with, T. Funny enough, shout out T. It's been a while since we've talked, girl. But she worked at the pub, but she was also living alone. She'd just moved to Melbourne and she was living alone. And I know like being isolated from people, that was so hard. And I think that whole the bubble buddy incentive. Yeah, that was probably a good thing that they did, but it wasn't enough. And it was also, I think, too late.
Yeah. And
it was too far gone. They should have made that a thing from day dot.
Yeah, and especially from like the mental health side of thing as well, like, you know, some of the blanket fixes they gave us, like, you know, like I'll FaceTime people, talk to people.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't really work for a lot of people.
It's not the same thing too. Like you need that. I know that it's not for everyone, but like I need that touch. Like I want to be able to hug my friends and, you know, and tell them I care and like missed you and stuff like that. It's hard when you get told like you can't touch. Like you couldn't even give people handshakes.
No, we had to do the
weird elbow thing. elbow thing. What the hell? Oh my God. Kids that are growing up now don't understand how lucky they were to like not be working during that.
It's something that I kind of pulled from the pandemic. I remember particularly doing the job that I was doing at the time. I wasn't constrained by the restrictions and stuff. I could drive around. I was going lots of places.
Yeah.
Particularly around like the Geelong Surf Coast sort of region. So I remember like being able to sort of walk around these buildings, dead of night. No one was around. It was so quiet.
Oh, peaceful times.
And I remember just watching how the environment changed. Like I saw so many animals, so many things. Like even the insects and stuff became more plentiful.
Because of us humans, we're not.
There was less intervention in the environment. But yeah, like I remember just walking around. Like there was schools and stuff that I'd have to go to for alarm responses.
Yeah.
I would go for 12 hours and not see a single other person.
That's so crazy. Do you remember when you got to do your 1 hour of yard time?
We didn't have that in Geelong.
Oh, see, that was something that we actually really looked forward to. It was that the 1 hour of outdoor time. Now, for people that are listening from other countries, in Victoria or Melbourne specifically, we got told that we were only allowed to go outside for 1 hour of like exercise or, going for a walk.
You're allowed to leave your house.
Yeah.
You could be in your backyard and stuff like that. Let's explain it that way, because you could basically go and walk around the block or something like that.
Yes.
Half an hour walk somewhere and then half an hour back kind of deal.
Yes.
Yeah. How they tracked that, I have no idea.
It was so stupid.
It was ridiculous.
It was so stupid.
But, yeah, I remember like where we were, like they kind of tried to do it, but no one followed it.
Oh, no. I mean, I was trying to because, like, I think also from working in hospitality because of the whole, when things did open up a little bit and we could go back to work, but there were all these crazy restrictions, like, the abuse that we copped from people was just out the gate. So I think at that point I was really trying my hardest to be a moral citizen in that respects, to try to do the right thing.
Has that changed how you approach service staff now?
No, because I'm always nice to service staff because I know what it's like.
Same deal. Like, I've seen the struggle. I know what it's like. It's never nice being on the receiving end of some arsehole Karen that's, my soup is too cold.
Oh, no, and I think one of the things that like pissed me off the most was when we were allowed to go back to the pub and stuff. The two things that I thought were a bit ridiculous was, one, you had to have the mandatory jab, which I know was a hot topic at the time. And now we look at it now and think, well...
They want us to do annual vaccinations and shit.
Don't know how I feel about that.
No, but...
Don't know how I feel about that.
I got 3. Like, because my situation was particularly with my family predominantly being in Queensland.
Yeah.
I was basically cut off from family without it. So... I was very pro-vaccine because what that meant is like it gave me a chance. Like if I could hop on a plane and go back to my parents.
Yeah.
I got very angry at a few points during the pandemic. Do you remember the protests that they had?
Yeah, I do.
And the one where they basically desecrated the war memorial?
Yeah. I don't remember that one, but...
I was very angry that day.
I bet.
And then when the AFL was flaunting the restrictions and stuff.
Fucking AFL.
Oh. Ban the AFL. I hate it so much.
Wow. See, I don't hate the AFL. I used to watch it pretty religiously. I've calmed down now. Like, I haven't even watched any of the games of this new season, and I haven't even signed up for tipping.
I haven't watched a game since I worked at the Workers' Club.
Oh, wow, that's a long time. That's a long time.
That's how little I give a damn.
Yeah, fair enough. Go the Saints.
Burn every club to the ground.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. We get it. Adam doesn't like football.
No, Adam does not.
No, but yeah, that was a shitty thing. The whole having to check vaccines to get to the pub, and I remember I had to go through the same thing because working in hospitality, you had to have your jabs. I mean, you couldn't be serving anyone in the pub if
Do you remember, particularly early days when everything was shut down, how there was such a focus on social welfare? So I'm talking like, Centrelink and stuff like that.
Yes.
Particularly those support payments for hospitality workers and
Yes.
stuff like that. Did you get...
I did.
You did?
I did.
Did you have any troubles applying for it? Because I heard there was a lot of issues.
I didn't because at the time, after having like my knee surgery and stuff, I had applied for Centrelink to help because I was unable to work.
Yeah.
Essentially for a while there.
Well, you're also a student as well.
I was also a student, so I had I think I was doing like the Oz study. Mm-hmm. So I had Oz study, Centrelink payments. So I was already in the system, so I didn't have any issues in that sense. But I know a lot of other people had severe dramas with that.
Yeah. Being on the outside, that's all I heard about was just like,
yeah.
It's just like, eh. Or you could be a Qantas pilot and just go work in the Amazon factory.
Sure, why not? Why not? But that was the other thing with the jab, right? I couldn't actually get it, sign into my master's degree or apply for my master's degree unless I had 3 jabs.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so because that was a mandatory thing.
Weren't they running exclusively online at that point?
No, so because
Really?
No, because I had applied for my master's. Oh, I've got to do some thinking here first. No, because after my bachelor, I ended up, this was like middle of the pandemic sort of thing. I had applied to do my postgrad of art history because, I don't know how to stop studying.
No.
So I had applied to do my postgrad of art history through Adelaide University, and that was an online course.
Back to Adelaide.
Yeah, back to Adelaide. But it was all Zoom. So, and that was only for 6 months. And then at the end of the 6 months, that's when I'd applied for my master's, and that was one of the requirements was you needed to have the 3 jabs done because you would be doing placements. And for context, my master's is secondary teaching, and because you'd have to do placements in schools and things, it's a requirement. It was a requirement,
and that was said by the education department.
Yeah.
So, and sort of flip side for that, particularly working in the industry that I was working in, we had to have it because it was mandated by every government site.
Yeah. Okay.
So, a bit of personal information. I've had 3 jabs.
Yeah, I have 2.
I was going to get the 4th, but because there's been no sort of necessity for it, I haven't gone for the 4th one. But
I've had COVID 3 times too. Like, what has the jab done?
I've had it 4 times.
That fucking sucks, man.
First time I caught it from work. Second time I caught it from my son. Third time I caught it from my son. Fourth time I caught it from work.
Miles had it.
Yeah.
Oh, poor little thing.
He was only 8 months old when he got it the first time.
Oh my God, that's so young.
Yeah, so you can imagine we're trying to do like the little swab inside his nose to do the check.
That would have sucked.
Yeah, and then so he brought it in, and then the ex got it, and then I got it, and so I've had it 4 times, and I have to say, the second time and the 4th time are the worst that I've had.
Yeah, I think the second time... Actually, no, the second time wasn't as bad. I just had, like, a really gnarly cough the second time. First time, the first 2 days of it was pretty...
It was the worst.
Yeah, I felt like I'd been hit by a bus.
I crawled into a bathtub and just died.
I got
just like, ugh.
I got banished to this couch for a week. So that was what.
Is that the quarantine in the
That's
house?
that's what Maz and I did. So when
We should probably set that up as well. We're not recording in our usual spot.
yeah, we're at my house today.
When Mim said that she's not into skateboarding but has a shit ton of skateboarding paraphernalia around.
So we've got there's 2 out here, there's 2 on the wall. There's a couple of signed ones in our study as well. I think there's like 8 or 9 of them floating
so
around.
what I've done with snowboards, you've done with skateboards.
Pretty much. Just my reminder to, another time of my life. But yeah, quarantined out here, which wasn't the worst thing because I just set myself up and I just watched American Horror Story.
Well, that and you like a lot of natural light coming in as well, so that
Yeah.
was nice during the day.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. And Maz was just like, being a hypochondriac and Glen Twinning, spraying like every surface I touched. He's literally, he was like, get away from me.
But I want to love you.
Yeah, I was a bit like that. And then I think the second time was the funniest because I had been listening to this other podcast, which is like no longer a podcast anymore, but it's called The Handbags.
Yeah.
And it was the 2 guys that were from reality TV. So it was Michael, who was from Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
And Josh, who was on Love Island. And it was their podcast. And I had listened to their podcast frequently, but they had done an episode about partners taking too long to do things and to put your request through, and they would see if they could try and make things happen. So I think at the time,
That's an interesting thing to complain about.
I think it was more to it. Like there was way more to it, but this is
You're summarizing.
Yeah, I'm summarizing.
Okay.
But essentially, I had sent them a message because Maz and I were about 7-ish years into our relationship.
Subtle flex.
Yeah. We're about to approach 10 years in May. But I'd sent them a message being like, this is Maz's Instagram. We've been together for 7 years. Like, he's an amazing dude, but like, hurry the fuck up, pretty much.
Ah.
Hurry the fuck up.
Did he get shouted out?
They made a video pretending to be a jeweler and they sent it to him, and it is the funniest thing ever, and I've kept it. I did a screen recording because they beeped out our names in the like the one that they posted,
episode.
but Maz ended up replying to them, and he was like, "She can wait another 10 years." Like,
Fair.
and that's his humor. And that's obviously not conveyed in text format.
No.
So the next episode, I remember I was...
He got called out.
Oh, they called him out. And they were like, oh, shit. Like, sorry to that listener. Like, you might be waiting a little bit longer. We don't know. Like, let us know if you're still together and stuff. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. But at the time I had COVID and they'd sent that video through, and I was laughing so hard that I'd sent myself into a coughing fit. I actually thought I was going to die because I could not breathe.
Yeah, I actually had... So, the 4th time, I collapsed in my kitchen.
What the hell?
Same thing. I wasn't laughing, but I just started coughing, and then I just collapsed.
It's heinous. I hate being sick. Give me a runny nose over a cough any day.
Especially like post-pandemic coughs, like they seem to linger a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah. And how many people, have you heard of people having long-term COVID?
Yeah. I was one of them.
Yeah.
After the 3rd time I had it just would not go away.
It's awful. So,
Didn't have the brain fog though.
No. Well, I don't think I had brain fog. I just felt tired.
I was just naturally stupid.
Stop it. I think Mario is home. I think Mazzy's gotten home. He went on a trip to Bunnings.
Yeah, see, remember how in the first episode we're going to call back to that, but yeah, me and Maz alone talking about things quickly escalate.
Yes.
Maz going to Bunnings, things quickly escalate.
Oh, very much so. He went over an hour ago. He said he had to go in for 2 things. I'm worried. I'm worried that it's more than 2 things, but
I don't know,
anyway.
it depends how long it takes for him to get all the stuff out of the car.
Anyway, that's him for it. But like, what are some of the other things that have come out of the pandemic? Is I think that it was one of those things that forced us to really take in our socialization, and I think it made it more like booking time in with your friends.
Yeah, so there's a lot more organization in going into social events and stuff like that, particularly if they're like going somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, you remember having to book into restaurants like that, you would normally just walk in and grab a table.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd have to book in and do that. The thing that I pulled from it is it's changed how I view my social circle.
Yeah.
So now, like, I was never very big socially. Like, I used to have friends and stuff, but I believe in quality over quantity.
I completely agree.
So, but I've kept my social circle kind of standard through the time, like, particularly here in Melbourne, because I've had to cultivate a lot of it since
also,
my move.
you've got a kid too. He takes up a lot of your time.
Yeah, but this is something, because I've been talking to some of my friends that are dads and stuff like that. I differ from a lot of them because a lot of them seem to palm the kid off to the mum and they go off and do stuff. I'm the exact opposite, and I have been since day one. If I'm going to Bunnings, he's coming with me.
Hell yeah.
If I'm going to go for a drive to talk to some people about doing some metal or something,
He's coming along.
He comes with me.
I love that.
And yeah, like he started doing like thumbs up and stuff like that.
Aww.
So first time he did it, I burst out laughing. He's like, "Thanks, mate."
That's so cute.
And yeah, like, but this, and like, because I've had a very sort of because of the birthing experience and stuff that we sort of talked about, and because I was the thing that he bonded with when he first came out, like, I'm the first one that gave him a hug. He was on my chest, not her chest.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of changed the dynamic between how.
But you're also just a very hands-on dad. So, like, I think that was always going to be the case with you and Miles, is that you guys were always going to be little besties from day dot. And
that's sort of like, that's a bit of a bane, particularly now considering the situation between me and the ex, because if we're together or if we're in a situation together and he's scared, he comes to me. He doesn't go to her.
Aww.
So yeah, and that's kind of bred that kind of relationship as well. But I also love it because it kind of changes the dynamic between, like in the early period, the dads aren't really involved with the kids and stuff like that. Completely different dynamic there. Because
that's a real, like, taboo, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's like a bit of a stigma that's really unnecessary, because who's to say we can't, like, as a male, particularly in my circumstance, I can't provide, like, I can't feed them from a, like, in that sort of
titty.
Sense, from a titty, but like, who's to say
you could be like Meet the Fockers.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I don't think I could pull that off. But like, it's like, and this is where, like, especially because I'm nocturnal, again, midnight, storm clouds, blah blah blah, it made a lot of sense. Like, if I wasn't at work, I was picking up the late night, early morning stuff, particularly because when you have a kid, the first sort of 3 months, it's 2 hourly feeds. You've got to be up every 2 hours to feed them.
You're not selling having kids, mate.
No, and I'm not going to. It's all a choice. But
yes,
in saying that, if you have someone that you can do it with, like, it makes life so much easier.
Yeah, 100%. It's teamwork.
If you can split the load, which is what we did. Like, we made the agreement, like, okay, you need to sleep. If you can handle, like, a few hours in the morning while I sleep, that's fine. But also because I've spent so long with sleep deprivation, I can sort of manage that. And...
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
It's Lurkin' Larry, ladies and gentlemen.
It's Lurkin' Larry.
Lurkin'...
He's always lurking somewhere. You two talking a bit.
Pandemic.
Oh, shit.
We heard about your diabetes story.
Yes.
Now the world knows.
Just...
I'm still diabetic.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Prove it.
The test proved it.
Can you turn the power board on?
What?
The power board. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, sorry. We had our Loke and Larry.
We had a little lurk and Larry. But guys, circling back to the socialization, and I feel like it made us more aware of like planning time to hang out with our friends. And I think this is what I was saying to you earlier before we started recording, is that, God, I miss my early 20s when like you just hung out with your friends and you didn't have to worry about stuff. Like you didn't have to worry about anything. It was just like, yep, let's do this. Let's go out. Like really spontaneous adventures.
I know the plan wasn't to cultivate this, but I got this image of 20-year-old men being this ridiculous party girl out every night, drinking to excess, being frivolous.
You're not that far off. It was a fun time. And that's what you're meant to do in your early 20s, though. You're meant to do that because, you know what? You got responsibilities and things later on, and that takes a toll, and, you know, they become your priorities. And I think what's been working for me lately is my Google Calendar. But isn't it wild that we have to book things like weeks in advance? Like if you want to have brunch with your friends and stuff, you've got to look over your calendars and go, oh yeah, I'm free here, but I can only do the mornings, or like I've only got this evening, or I can't stay out too late because I've got work early the next day. Like when I'm at work, Sunday to Thursday, realistically, they're school nights for me. So don't ask me to go out for dinner or anything because it's highly unlikely.
No, and like for me, I'm usually free most nights during the week. It's the weekends that kind of suck for me because
you got kid.
Because of kid duties. But like at the same time, within reason, there are stuff that I would be willing to sort of take him to with me and stuff like that. So and this is where like I think also like the booking system and stuff is actually beneficial, because I was talking to you about this. Like in Japan, I found out through TikTok, which I'm not very happy about, but anyway.
TikTok's great. What are you talking about?
TikTok as a resource is an interesting one, particularly if you use it as a social study.
Yeah.
But apparently in Japan, if you're going to organize things, they use dates, not days.
I love that.
So like you say, hey, are you free on the 15th? Let's have lunch on the 15th.
Yes. I love that. That's a really great idea. But also I'm curious to know what some of our listeners, like what are some of the things that you guys do to, you know, help organize your life, or like how do you manage catching up with your friends and making time for those people?
I should mention now, Spotify, I've set it up so that you can leave comments under the audio.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So comments, YouTube, you know the rule. You can leave comments.
Or even on our Instagram, that would be great too. Just like we'd love to interact with our listeners, and we want to get like
opinions.
your opinions, your point of view on things, or even suggestions for things that you guys want us to talk about in, you know, future episodes. But I'd be really curious to know, like, what are some of the things that you guys do to make time for your special people, like your inner circle, your friends, your family? What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? Do you go out for coffee? Do you send them cards? Like, do you remember the postcards that they could send out?
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. What are some of the things you do? I know, like, for me, I've got, like, some of my closest friends. They don't even live here. They live
Jem.
Jem.
Shout out, Jem.
So, miss you. Miss you and the kiddies and Scotty. But, like, you know, we've got to it's hard for her because she's got two kids.
She's got an army.
Yeah, she does. She's got 2 kids and she lives on a big property, and also, like,
is she New South Wales?
Yeah, top of New South
Wales.
Wales.
Also like Hunter Valley kind of deal, or
No, Crescent Heads.
right?
Yeah, but there's like no reception as well. She only has like reception in like her main house. So, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be nice.
Sometimes our phone calls are very much like
Sorry, I got to go inside.
Or it's like 10 minutes. We get 10 minutes where it's solid and then it drops out, and then we have to try reconnect again. So
The trouble, I'm struggling not to troubleshoot that because I think there's fixes and stuff we could do for it.
well, she's on Starlink.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
fuck
the
that
Swastika
guy.
car.
Fuck that guy. I love how people have been putting stickers on their Teslas, and it's like, I bought this before I knew he was crazy.
Yeah. I was talking to my brother about it. Apparently in the US, if you hire a Tesla, the hire companies actually offer you to buy it at a ridiculously low rate after you've...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's saying something, isn't it?
Who wants the Cybertruck?
Ew, God, they are hideous cars. Hideous cars. Anyone that thinks that's good, I mean, you know, each their own, I guess. But do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's kind of like us for a second episode. Yeah,
Just-
usual plugs.
Insta, we are we got underscores underneath all of our letters, and I should probably
let's review
let's
that.
like triple
So
check.
we've got underscores. It's at After Work Club Pod.
Yes, After Work Club Pod. Hit us up on the Instagrams. We're on
YouTube is at After Work Club, and Spotify is just the After Work Club.
Yeah, which is really cool because that's like one of the first things that pop up when you search us on Spotify.
Yeah, we're Spotify famous. Not really.
Yay! But we'd love for you guys to tune in to our next episode whenever we decide to record that. Hopefully sooner rather
We'll
than
do some
later.
pre-production on that.
Yes, definitely. But it's been real, and we're so glad that you've stuck around. Or if you haven't, you should probably finish the end of the
Poo
episode.
to you,
Yeah,
sir.
poo to you, poo to you, poo to you. But if you have, thanks for sticking around, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Catch you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.